YouTube, what is up, everybody? In this video, I got a messy crop top tutorial and a beard lineup, but I don't want to waste no time because this one's pretty interesting. So let's get right into it. All right, so here we go. Just got a before shot right here. Don't mind the golf club on the barber's chair across from me. It's just kind of a little joke we were playing in the shop. But this has been one of my clients for probably close to when I started. So he's probably been my client for almost 4 years. So I enjoy cutting his hair. So right now I'm just parting the hair. I've talked about this before. I'm looking for the swirl pattern in the back of his head, and I'm going from that swirl pattern to the recession. And then you guys saw I'm using the 1.5 detachable blade. I'm going right up to the ridge of his head. As soon as his occipital bone starts going out in the back, I'm going straight up. And then I'm just following that shape all around his head. I want to keep a nice squared looking shape for this crop top. So I'm just taking that 1.5 and going straight up. And the comb, you guys see me using the comb, and people that I've taught before, when I teach them about the comb, they get so lost on where to put the comb, they end up making a huge divot on the side of someone's head. The comb is just there to catch the hair that the clipper is pushing up. So like if the comb weren't there and you guys were to just go up with your clipper, some of that hair around the ridge is just going to get pushed up and you're not going to be able to get it. The comb is there just to help you hold that hair in place so you can just cut that shape right in. So in this video, I didn't do anything different for recording purposes. This is exactly how I would cut in the shop. So because I did a 1.5 on the side and he gets a 1.5 on his beard, I went straight into it. Just to save time. You know, this is a haircut and beard. At my shop, I book out 45 minutes for a haircut and facial hair service. So I had to get this done in 45 minutes and record it. So next, I'm just, putting in my skin line, leaving it a little bit lower because this was his first skin fade ever. He's kind of one of those people though. He started off getting a 2 on the side for years. Recently, he's like, oh, maybe I'll do a number 1. And then this time he came in, he's like, yo, I want a skin fade. I've been waiting for him to get a skin fade for years. So I was like, yeah, I gotta record this one. So anyway, I put my line in and I just want to keep that line symmetrical. So when his head drops down in the back, I want to drop my line in the back to keep it the same type of distance all around the head to give a even fade. And then I'm just balding them out. That's with my 4-0 detachable blade. I don't like using the 5-0 just because for me it just never cut the way that I thought it would. So I use the 4-0 and just cleaning up around his ears, making sure I'm getting every hair. So when I go in with the foil shaver, I don't gotta go back over it at all with the 4-0 or the trimmers. So just going in there with the foil shaver, I'm probably leaving like anywhere from like a 1/2 inch to a 1/4 inch from my line. That way, if there is a line left from the foil shaver, it gives me room to kind of fade it out. Using a Bronze Series 9, it's my favorite shaver. It just never irritates anybody's skin. I recommend it to all my clients that they get it. I recommend it to every barber that I teach, that they get it. It also comes with a self-cleaning dock, and we all know sanitation is your reputation. So now, like I said, because I'm trying to save time and be efficient, I'm using my trimmers. I'm putting in that line on the back of his beard, just trying to make it natural, but also, straight at the same time. Take as little hair off as possible. And then just putting in this C cup. I think this C cup just brings a cut to the next level. Sometimes on this side of the head, so on the left side of the head, I'm right-handed. So sometimes I'll use two hands. Right here, I'm just using one real quick. But the biggest thing when you're doing a lineup, especially like a C cup, you just want to make sure that you're resting a finger on their head to help you stay stable, so you're not shaking and you're able to make a nice consistent line. And then I'll use my trimmers, because I'm trying to use my trimmers as much as I can right now, because I'm trying to be efficient, right? So I'll use my trimmers to get that line out, and then I'll do the other side, trying to get his beard nice and straight and lined up. And you guys see the finger, my pointer finger's right on his head, right at his eyebrow. Just making sure it helps me keep my hands still, so that I can put a nice consistent line on there. So then I'm just fading the beard in. The beard was a 1.5, so I know that I can just use my half guard and fade into it. I'll go open, then halfway, then closed, and I'll do the same thing with the clipper with no guard. I'll go halfway, or I'll go all the way open, halfway, then close, and then it'll blend right in. So now I'm going all the way around his head with my clipper open, putting in that guideline, making sure I'm consistent. And I like to do this technique sometimes. I used to just fade one side of the head, then I do the other side, but I feel like when I put this line in all around his head, it actually helps me stay more consistent. And you guys will see, I'll do one side and the other, but I like to put this line in first because it helps me keep my blends consistent. And consistency and symmetry is huge when it comes to those, top-notch haircuts. So I'll put my line in with my clipper open, then I'll go in, I'll close my clipper halfway, then I'll close it all the way and try to knock that line out. And if there's a little bit of a line left, then I'll just open my clippers like a quarter of the way, and I'll just hit it with the corners, and that line will be completely gone. Now I'm going in with my half guard. I'll start off closed. I like to work my way up with the half guard. For some reason, it just helps me blend better when I blend up. So I'll start with my clipper closed, then I'll open it halfway, and then I'll open it all the way up with the half guard, and that'll blend right into the 1.5 detachable blade. And then you're done. Just one guard fading and you're done. This is a system of fading that I've recently developed. I've been working probably for the last 4 or 5 months just on my efficiency, and I've been trying to come up with quicker ways to fade, and I just felt like it wasn't working. And then I don't know, somehow, just after thinking, I tried this out, and the system works for me. And now I'm able to consistently do haircuts in a half hour, even if it's a skin fade. I could do a haircut and beard in 45 minutes. And that's literally boosted my income $300 to $400 a week just by fitting in an extra 7 to 8 haircuts in a week. So I'm doing the same thing on this side. You guys already know the system. But yeah, I mean, this system has changed my life in a sense. Like, I can do I mean, I still work 5 days at the shop, but now I'm doing 5 days worth of haircuts. Before, I'm doing that in 3.5 or 4 days, because now I've got a system that helps me consistently get stuff done quicker. I used to book out 45 minutes for a haircut. Now I do 30 minutes. And yeah, I mean, that's 3 haircuts for every 2 that I was doing before. So my advice to you guys is to just come up with a system that works for you. It doesn't have to be this system, or, you know, this is what works for me, but come up with something that works for you that can give you consistent and efficient results. And that's gonna change things for you. I can guarantee that. I've seen it happen. Yeah, so I'm just gonna take myself out and just let you guys watch me fade the rest of this head, and we'll pick up after that. I do want to add one thing about the back of the head is when you're fading the back of the head, you just want to make sure you're going over the same spot a little more, a couple extra times, just because the hair is so dense in the back that if you just go over it, you know, one time, it's not going to get it all. And sometimes I see people struggle with leaving lines in the back, and it's just because you didn't go over the same spot enough. It's not that you didn't cut it the wrong length. It's just that hair is more dense, so you got to hit it a couple extra times. So that's why you guys will see me, I'll spin the person back and forth while I'm cutting the back, almost like a typewriter, just going back and forth, back and forth. So now I'm cutting the top. You guys can see I'm parting it right down the middle. I'm going from where the middle of his crown and following his natural part to the front of his head, so that I can comb it down on both sides and pull it to that guideline that I made with my clippers at the beginning. And I can pull it straight out, and I can cut it with my scissors to create that squared shape. You guys can see me, I'm using my scissors. I'll lift it up and I'll see, okay, where's my guideline? And I have one underneath my fingers and then on the side of my fingers. And as I go to the front of his head, I'm just following the contour of his head. And I know I want it to be straight across, his fringe to be straight across. So I'll just follow and continue to pull out straight on his fringe to make sure that it's straight across. And then, just like, 99% of the time when I cut the top of someone's head, I'm starting in the back. It's just easiest for me. And then when you do that middle part and you start cutting horizontally like this, you have guidelines everywhere. So then you have guidelines on the side, and then once you make that first cut, now I've got a guideline behind and on the side. And I'm just pulling my fingers straight up so I can cut a squared shape in. And I'm making sure that when as his head rounds, I'm pulling 90 degrees from where the hair grows. You guys will see as I get closer and closer to the front of his head, I'm making sure that I'm pulling straight out. You guys see it right here. I'm pulling straight out from where his hair is growing. This is the best way to ensure that you're cutting all of his hair the same length. A big problem I see is people, when they get to the front of the head, they naturally just pull the hair backwards. And I cut people's hair all the time whose hair is half an inch to an inch longer in the front, just because the person wasn't paying attention to the shape of their head. And people notice that. I will guarantee you that your clients will notice if their hair's longer in the front. So now I'm just using a texturizing technique. I learned this from the Josh OP Academy, the Josh OP Online Academy. And I'm basically just using my comb, bringing it. It's pushing the hair up a little bit for me, and then I'm just lightly gliding my razor over it. And I do it when it's wet. These are the styling products I'm using, guys. Lay Right Natural Matte Cream. And what I'll do is I'll put it, another thing I learned from Josh OP, I'll put it on my hand, the cream, and then I'll sprinkle the powder in my hand and rub it around. That way I can really control where I'm putting the powder. And then I'll use the diffuser, because the diffuser doesn't blow the hair all over the place. It helps me style it while I'm blow drying it. And then I'm just, cutting his fringe, making sure that it looks good, making sure it's clean, it's straight. And now I think I'm using the 2 detachable, just because the 1.5 blends into the 2, and I'm just making sure I'm getting any last overhanging hairs. I'm using the comb like I was telling you guys about earlier, just to make sure that I'm not pushing any of the hair up, that I'm making sure I'm cutting all the hair exactly where I want it. And this is a technique that I love. I love using the fine tooth of my comb, and I'll just, whether I'm using regular scissors or blending scissors or my clippers, I just love using the fine tooth of my comb because it really helps me to target, almost like a sniper. I can specifically target hairs that I want to cut, and I can go right in and take care of it. And this particular client, he likes his beard brought up closer to his jaw. So I'm just gently tapping that line, not going too hard because underneath people's chins can be pretty sensitive. And just putting that line in, using his jawline as reference. I try to leave any line that I make on someone's beard, I try to make it parallel with their jawline. Just because you want people's facial hair to complement their face shape. So he's already got a strong jawline. If I can use that as my frame of reference, then his beard is going to naturally shape his face. And I'll do the same thing for the line on his cheek. Right here, you'll see I'm making it parallel to his jawline. Everything I'm bringing back to his jawline. And what I'll do is I'll have a reference, right? So I got his jawline, and then I'll use my blade, and I'm like, okay, I have my corner of my blade at the corner of his mouth. I'll put 1 blade length, and then 2 or sometimes just 1.5 blade lengths. And then I'll be like, okay, then I start curving it. That way I can go ahead right on the other side and do the same thing. So that's what I did, and now I'm going in and I'm using a razor. I always put a little bit of shave gel on there, the Tomb 45 shave gel. I got the Tomb 45 razor. I've had this razor handle for years, guys. If you guys are looking for a good, sturdy one that's gonna last you a long time, get the Tomb 45 razor handle. Like I said, I got this at a crisp Osiel class back in 2017, and I'm still using it. So it'll be 4 years in October since I've had this. And I'm just going right up to the line, making sure I'm stretching the skin, combing the debris out. You want to make sure you comb, when you use shave gel, you want to make sure you comb that debris out, because you don't want your client looking at a nice line right there and then they, go like this and the line's gone. You want to make sure that line looks good with or without shave gel. We're not trying to play no gimmicks on our clients. We want our haircuts to look good for real. So here it is. So this is the after shot. A little spin around, a little how do you do there. My man Christian's first skin fade. I think it came out good. Let me know what you guys think. Please subscribe to the channel, like the video, comment below. All that type of stuff helps the channel out. I love giving out content to you guys. This is a cut that took me a long time to learn. This is a fading system that changed my life. So I'm glad that I could share this knowledge with you guys. And like always, I'm here to help you learn so that you can grow and that hopefully we can all show others. Hometown Cody, out.